All right, good day and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a little bit of something outdoors. We got the smoker prepped and ready to go because we're making meatloaves. Not just any meatloaves. We're making, I guess they're sort of mini meatloaves that are very much like giant meatballs, but it'll be fun. Welcome back to the Farm Cook channel. This is the place where you get to eat well, have fun, and hopefully learn lots, especially about low carb and keto cooking. So now, let's get ready and make some dinner. All right, so today we're going to be making meatloaf, but not the traditional meatloaf that you may have grown up with. No, this is going to be very, very different. So what we're going to do is, first of all, make it keto. Second of all, we're not going to make it in a loaf pan or anything like that. We're going to make meaty balls, really. And then thirdly, we're going to cook it in the smoker. And I don't know how to explain it, but there's something magical that happens when you cook certain items in the smoker. So if you're used to baked meatloaf and thinking, oh, that's pretty good, wait till you try it in the smoker. So what we're going to do, this recipe calls for 3 pounds of ground beef. This is 80-20. We got 2 breakfast sausages, bulk sausages. Got 3 eggs. We've got some barbecue rub, and we've got some binder. And in this case, in order to keep it keto, we're not adding breadcrumbs, we're not adding oatmeal or anything like that. This is sugar to Parmesan cheese. That's going to be our binder for this dish. So while we're getting this ready, the smoker is going, and we're trying to make sure that the not only does the temperature get up to the appropriate range, but that the wood chunks that are producing the smoke, and I have a very, very modest smoker. It's not one that runs on splits of wood. It is one that is propane powered. And so I drop in chunks of wood into a particular basket that then starts to smolder once the fire gets turned on. So we want to make sure that the wood gets to the point where you're seeing the thin blue smoke. Initially, when you first get things going, and when the smoldering of that wood starts, there's going to be white smoke that happens initially. And that white smoke is really acrid. It's really bitter tasting. And if you start cooking while that white smoke is happening, your food is going to taste that bitter, acrid flavor. So got to make sure you get to the point where you're seeing thin blue before you decide, all right, now is the time. So that's going, that's heating up, and that we're getting to the right type of smoke. In the meantime, we've got 5 pounds total of protein that's in here. And I'm just going to drop in the egg that's going to help serve as a binder. Just 3 eggs. And the exact amount of egg doesn't really matter. I just know from experience that for this amount of protein that that amount of eggs will work. 4 would work fine too. 5 would probably work okay. 2, it doesn't quite hold together as well. So next I'm going to drop in a pretty good amount of this sugar to cheese. Not all of it. I'm going to drop in a pretty good amount of this rub. This happens to be Simply Marvelous cherry rub. I've added a little bit of complete seasoning, Badia's complete seasoning, to that mix, as well as some chipotle powder and a little bit of garlic powder. Not adding any diced onions or any other veg to this meatloaf mix because I'm keeping it simple. Trying to do something relatively quick, relatively easy, no stress, no muss, cook outside while everybody else is sort of preparing for a big Thanksgiving meal. So this is something that I'm going to cook today, have available for the next couple of days, couple of meals. But I'm going to put the rest into the freezer and have it available for later on, or maybe even bring some with me when we go to visit family. The Meat Fairy does make rounds at this time of year, which is generally appreciated. So I'm just going to keep mixing and eventually form these guys into shapes that go on a nice rack, and this rack loaded with meat is going to go into the smoker. So when you're mixing the protein together, the sausage, the bulk sausage, and the ground beef, it's really, really important to get everybody integrated, everything evenly divided. That's not only going to help with the ultimate flavor, but also getting things to cook evenly and make sure there's no pockets of, big chunks of sausage or big chunks of ground beef that don't have the sausage and the seasonings already integrated. So, and because it's 5 pounds of protein, it just takes a while to mix together. You can already tell this mix right now is not super wet. If it were, I would add more of the Parmesan cheese to sort of help bring it together. So I think the ratios are pretty good. I may add a little bit more seasoning. And I've done this enough, so I have a pretty good eye for determining how much seasoning is actually needed based upon the color. So this is one of the things that I do on a ongoing basis, and I've had a smoker since about 2010. So it's been a lot of meatloaves made. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. Meatloaf in the smoker is a completely different animal than baked meatloaf. And I think the keto version is actually better than the regular stuff that you would get at a diner or that your mom used to make, or your grandmother, whatever. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. What is your favorite mix of meatloaf? All right, so we're about ready to get the protein into the cooker. The one thing I want to make sure I impart to you guys is that it's really hard to know where you are without knowing your temperature. And that's what we're shooting for, is or the goal we're trying to get to is safe and not overcooked. So for this kind of a mix of ground beef and ground sausage, need to make sure we're getting up above 165. So I've actually got a preset on my thermometer that is set to go off at 167, and what I'm going to do is just put a probe into what I think is the largest of the meatballs, and that's going to be the thing that determines the temperature for the protein. I've also got a probe that's in the cooker just to make sure that it's maintaining the appropriate temperature. So that's it. This is going to cook. This is hovering about, before I opened the door, it was hovering about 350 degrees. Again, this is not low and slow type cooking where you need to break down lots of connective tissue and render out a whole bunch of fat, et cetera, et cetera. This is basically functioning as an oven, just one that provides more flavor. And so if it's at 350, that's okay. It'll actually cook a little bit faster. So we'll leave this go probably about 45 minutes, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's why we've got the probe in place. That way we know. So thanks. All right, we're back. The meatloaves, meatballs, whatever you want to call them, are out of the smoker. They got up to about 167, or at least the one where the probe was in, temperature probe was in, got up to that temperature. I did double check them with an instant read thermometer, make sure everybody was cooked all the way. They're all safe. And now it's just a matter of testing. So we'll grab one of these guys. Looking good. Put them on the cutting board. Let's give it a sample. Don't want too big a chunk, but hopefully get you to see. First of all, here's what the interior is looking like. So it's gotten up to temperature. There's nothing that's undercooked there. Again, we validated that with the thermometer. But there isn't much of a smoke ring either. But I didn't really expect much because it wasn't cooking for hours and hours. It only cooked for, I don't know, 90 minutes maybe. So here's here's that sample. Here's that bite. Hope it's okay. It's got the sort of sweet character of the rub. Also, I'd added some extra chipotle powder to the rub to add a little bit of heat. There's a little bit that's back there. It's a beautiful contrast. Also, it's wonderful. You taste the sausage, taste the ground beef. It's yummy. It's delicious, and it's not like something that came out of the oven. Smoked meatloaf. Give it a try.